Hello everyone, welcome to the weekly commodities rounder from Acumen Capital. We've had a very volatile week for commodities, especially when it comes to base metals, as the Chinese markets have remained shut for most part of the week. We saw copper prices fall sharply early in the week and holding those levels before recovering all or most of its losses towards the weekend, as the Chinese market came back from the holidays. Looking ahead into next week, in case of base metals, I think we have a very important data pointer, especially in the form of Chinese imports. I think which should provide a very important direction or possibly a trigger for further trend in base metals. Bullions were also active for most part of the week. We did see both gold and silver recover some ground, but eventually, as the week ended, we saw that prices failed to hold above those potential resistance levels, basically which could be termed as false breakouts. I think this is largely due to the fact that traders are clearly waiting on some sort of driver of momentum for prices or possibly a trigger point, especially in the form of the second stimulus package or the November elections. So I think over the course of the week, in case if you do have any significant event or a significant decision from the US regarding the stimulus package, I think that would be very important for your gold and silver prices. Oil prices remain broadly, stuck to a range despite that sharp increase in inventories, which came in as a surprise because over the past 3 to 4 weeks, we've had a sharp drop collectively in U.S. commercial inventories, and breaking that trend, we had this increase, despite which we didn't have prices falling. But again, on Friday, I think we did see some amount of dip in prices, which was possibly triggered due to profit booking. Natural gas has clearly been the star performer in the previous week, with the NYMEX futures registering gains of over 11%, whereas your domestic prices were up by around 10%. A large part of this rally was driven by technical buying, where we saw prices break above key resistance levels. So both your open interest and volumes registered significant changes, which supports the entire buying strategy. Going ahead, I think as we are headed into the seasonal demand months, especially starting from November, so hopefully the weather forecast and changes in temperatures over the next couple of months should continue to support gas prices to move higher. Now let's move on to the weekly data schedules and events for the next week and have a look at the commodities market from a fundamental and technical perspective as to what trading strategies and what the trend is expected.
Okay, so let's look at the key performers last week. Precious metals had a good week overall, with silver outperforming gold, registering gains of close to 8% on CME, whereas MCX silver was higher by about 3%. COMEX gold was higher by about a percentage, whereas the domestic gold prices registered gains of about half a percent. On the energy front, we've had a significant week with the natural gas prices finally recovering from the deep lows. NYMEX natural gas gained about 11%, whereas the MCX traded gas contracts were higher by about 9.5% each. NYMEX WTI oil gained nearly 9%, whereas MCX oil was higher by about 4.16%. Now, the stark difference where you see between most of the internationally traded metals and oil contracts and the domestic one is because of the overall volatility or strength of the rupee which we had during the week. Base metals listed on LME gained about 3.5% on average, with the best performance seen in nickel, which was higher by about 6%, whereas on MCX, copper and zinc were the best performers, registering gains of over 5%, close to 6% on an average. Moving on to key data releases in the coming week, US markets will be shut on Monday due to Columbus Day, which means that the oil and gas storage reports will be postponed by a day and released on Thursday instead. Chinese trade reports are due on Tuesday, which should provide key insights into the monthly demand for your base metals, and hopefully we will see possible directional movement once these figures are released. US CPI report is also due on Tuesday 6 o'clock, I think, which will be very important for your precious metals prices. Following this, over the week, we have unemployment claims and US retail sales, which will have an impact on your precious metals. Like I said, oil and gas storage reports are due at 8 and 8:30 p.m. on Thursday. Coming to the technical picture, as you can see, this is an hourly chart of gold, MCX gold. Following the sharp decline through August, where we saw gold prices test a low of 49,000, prices have since bounced back, and as you can see, is trading into a small range of about 50 to 51,000. From a fundamental perspective, the market continues to remain very uncertain, or the situation is very uncertain, which definitely builds a bullish case for oil. So as we go ahead, the market is most probably focused on the US elections, which should conclude on the 3rd of November, and the second stimulus package, which is important for both the US stock markets as well as gold. It's also worth noting that despite the entire fall in prices and this broad-based consolidation, ETF demand continues to be at record highs, and we have seen a significant increase in the month-on-month inflows into global ETFs, especially in the US and in the Europe. I think which further provides or emphasizes the bullish case for gold. So over the week, I think we're keeping a very neutral view on prices, with that 51,000 acting as a very important resistance, above which I think we will see that short-term trend change, and see prices eventually push higher to 52,000 to maybe 52,500 over the next 5 to 6 days. We've also seen that there has been a slight increase in open interest also, but again over the last 3 days we did have the OI decline. But just to summarize the whole thing, I think that gold is on the verge of a bullish breakout. Possibly what we will need is a significant event trigger, maybe the conclusion of the second stimulus deal, or maybe a bad report or a data pointer from the US. Silver prices, again, as you can see, it's been settling into a range of about 60,000 to 62, 63,000. We did have prices break above that resistance at 62,400, but given that relative drop in OI, as you can see in the lowest row, and gold's reluctance to move above that potential resistance, chances are that the rally will not hold, and we will see prices dip back, possibly back into the range or back onto those supports near those moving averages. Again, that it's not something which we would conclude, because we've seen over the year, given the massive rally and the surprising movement that we've had, it's always possible that silver might just continue to outperform and actually break the trend of following gold, even though the correlation has been slightly higher over the last 30 days or so. In case of rallies also, we still believe that silver will always be the outperformer, at least in the foreseeable future. So in case of gold, where we might have 1,000 or a 1,500 point rally, in case of silver that could be anything between 5 to 7,000 points. So from a short-term perspective, we're neutral, but again, like I said, the base case remains bullish, and we just need that possible trigger to move into the silver market. The initial targets, I think, in case if we do have a potential rally over the coming week, will be 66,500, somewhat around in that range. In case of oil prices, I think the struggle still continues to be very real, and over the past 2 months, we've not really seen any sort of significant change in the prices, or from a fundamental perspective. Despite efforts from OPC to actually prop up prices. So the basic scenario continues to remain the same. Demand remains low, especially because of COVID-19. supply from the OPEC, even though has reduced to a certain extent, but from a lot of member countries, especially Libya and Nigeria, we've seen the flows increase over the last 2 months, which is probably keeping a cap on prices around these $40, where clearly, the market seems to have found a balance. So going ahead for the foreseeable future, we expect oil prices to remain weak, or possibly a broad-based neutral outlook at best. 3050 is what we see as prices acting to be a very key resistance for prices to break above. On the lower side, 2900 to 2800 will remain a potential support range, which should be tested in the coming week. So in a line, we're keeping a slightly bearish view on oil prices and would be advising sell over the next week. In case if you've noticed, we've had an exceptionally volatile week for copper as the Chinese markets, remained shut due to a national holiday. Fundamentally, the demand has remained strong, especially and possibly only from China, where the country has made a lot of recovery from the COVID-19 cases. And over the last 2 months, if you are following the Chinese import figures, that is also reflecting a very strong demand trend coming in from China, which has been the reason why copper prices have been holding up. This week, I think, like I said, the focus will be on the Chinese import and export figures, where we will get, the monthly demand figures for the month of September as to how much imports were made in terms of refined copper and cathodes. So I think that will be key driver for prices. From a weekly perspective, we are keeping a very neutral view. Even though that prices have moved higher, we saw a slight increase in open interest compared to the last 5 or 10 session. That should indicate some amount of strength into the prices. But I think any possible trades should be postponed until unless we are out with the Chinese import figures. It should give us that much clearer view on how the market will behave going ahead. Now this remains a short-term view, but as you can see from the chart that if you're looking at a 3 to 6 month perspective, or maybe at a little bit broader time frame of maybe a year or 6 months per se, we have not had a significant correction in copper prices, which forms the base of any healthy market or any healthy bull or bear market. And we've had very minute corrections which have lasted maybe a day or two, but we've not had that price or time wise correction which we have come to expect of trending bull markets. In this case, as you can see, in case of copper, which has been rallying ever since the world went into a lockdown. So I think that continues to remain as a concern, where even though Chinese demand is picking up, maybe the supply will continue to remain at a steady pace, or maybe the global demand might not pick up. That is something which could possibly trigger a sharp sell-off in copper or the entire base metals complex. But again, we don't have any indications of such a situation at the moment. So I think we'll keep a very neutral view for the time being. Nickel, just as a forward, nickel is one commodity on which we've been bullish through the year. Large amount of this bullish view, or large part of this bullish view, is entirely dependent on the demand for nickel, especially from the EV or electric vehicles sector. This has something which has been driving prices significantly over the past 6 months, and even though we don't have figures easily available where we could gauge the exact demand of nickel consumption, but again, given that EV has been picking up trend both in India, in Europe and in the US, I think nickel prices are clearly underpriced even at these levels. We're keeping a very bullish view on nickel prices, and as you can see, starting that rally in mid-March to the high of 1160, we've had a very decent correction of almost 5 to 10%, and we are seeing prices recover, especially when your averages are crossing each other, and we've had that sharp increase in OI also. We're keeping a very bullish view on nickel and would be advising buys at least on dips to 1100 or 1090, possibly for targets near 1120 to 1150. From a slightly broader perspective, maybe by the year end, we expect nickel prices to be testing at least 1200 plus levels. Also, just a small fact in case of nickel, this is something which is worth noting that most of the base metals have either reached their life highs or have crossed above their life highs. Nickel still continues to remain an exception to this case. Uh, Prices have had an high of almost 2300 on MCX. This was way back in April 2007. So just to think that we have hardly covered 50% of that. Uh, so just to conclude, I think there is a lot of leg room for nickel prices to move higher, maybe over the next 3 months, and possibly 6 to 1 year ahead. So from that time of perspective, if you have clients who are willing to invest into something good, I think nickel will be counted as you can take nickel maybe 3 months in a 3 months forward contract. That should be a very good buy. That concludes the weekly outlook for commodities. Thank you so much.